Africa is rich. Africa is not poor. AC Song, please get on to her channel on YouTube. And talking about YouTube, TV3 Ghana, we're also on YouTube. And AC will be here on Thursday. It's when we're marking the Kwame Nkrumah Day, as we all know. Ideally, it should have been the only day celebrating him as a founder, as well as him as the Osajefo of Ghana. But, well, we'll take it as it is. As also Thursday comes, we'll have a great package for you. So AC will be here. We'll have some great recollection of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and then his formative years and the role he has played pre-independence, post-independence, in initially stabilizing Ghana before it was destabilized. I'm talking about what we need to do. We are also encouraging you, always memorize the short code *439# for cash out. One of the things I've noticed these days is on the dashboard, we don't seem to be having the replica of the numbers coming in by way of the odds. The more you play, the more the chances increase for you to be roped in. And because I'm an ardent patron of, the soccer bets and some of those things, I know that the more you play, you do the paying and the voting and the betting, you get to increase your chances of winning. So please, cash out comes with, again, the short code *439#. Please let them keep coming in, and then we'll do the draw at the end of the segment. We also have Dewa 539 Chop Money. The draw for that on the Caritas platform of the NLA happens at 10 a.m. and then it goes with a short code *446#. *446#. So you also get to win 20 times your stake. You get to win 20 times your stake with Direct 1, 40 times your stake, excuse me, 40 times your stake with Direct 2, and then 400 times your stake with Direct 3, all right? And just in case you want to pen the numbers, for those of you who are very good with calculating how numbers are penned, etc., we have this chart that with the way we do it, the lotto, you have 1, you pen it with 59, it came in year 2025, and then 1957, you pen it, numerology. So you choose from 1 to 39, very easy. Please, Dewa 539 Chop Money, *446#. Now, let me say good morning to a couple of my friends on my stream before I introduce my great guest for the morning. Mani Ni Mani, Imelda Nassar, Grace Tizawe, Ras Kotoka Shaddai Adote, Amuda Hamidu, Ni Atukwe Kwe. And then a couple of you, Johnny Weiler, all of you, Bonnie Weiler, all of you have joined us. Musa Dankwa is Executive Secretary or Director for Global Info Analytics, one of the best think tanks and then researchers around. He's joining us this morning as well. So Musa Dankwa. Good morning to you, Musa Dankwa.
Good morning to you, Walker.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. He's been doing this since the period of 2004, 5, 6. So he's now well versed in it. So very soon, please keep sharing as well. We're talking the voter registration exercise, the position of the Electoral Commission. So I have Elikem Kotoko, who is here. Elikem Kotoko, Deputy National Organizer, NDC. How are you? You've been going around many of the areas.
To borrow the words of my senior seated here, I could be better.
You could be better.
Yes.
And then also traditionally a chief, former chair for the PNC, Bernard Mona is a regular on the show. Bernard Mona, good morning to you.
Morning, Roland.
Okay. And then...
I see that Musa is still at breakfast.
Musa, all right.
Unfortunately, he's a distant away, so he's not able to share.
And then Sakasalia is also here. And Sakasalia, good morning to you.
Good morning,
Very
Roland.
distinguished gentleman. Had been communicating for the ruling New Patriotic Party.
Noticed. How can Saka be distinguished?
I mean, all right.
Roland, go on. I like what you're doing.
Let's tell you what the Electoral Commission has been saying.
No.
And its chair has been addressing a press conference in this detail.
Saka distinguished.
Ongoing registration, the Electoral Commission says it has been able to put over 183,000 persons onto the country's electoral roll. The process, which started on Tuesday last week, was fraught with challenges which the opposition NDC largely asserted to as orchestrated aimed at disenfranchising first-time voters, particularly in its stronghold. Accusations which have been parried by the Electoral Commission. Chairperson of the Commission, Jean Mensah, says any such claims cannot be true.
The allegations being made against us, including accusations of our working to disenfranchise eligible voters, to sending faulty kits to the stronghold of a specific political party, are false. A number of districts reported having faulty kits on the first 2 days. These kits were not located only in the stronghold of a political party, of a particular political party, and the evidence is there for all to verify.
On arguments by the former President John Mahama that perhaps the guarantor system is still quite the best way in registering persons onto the electoral roll, the Electoral Commission cited instances or media reports of minors being registered onto the electoral roll and used that as basis to suggest that if you can go to a district office with 2 guarantors just to get onto the electoral roll, you can go to the district office to get a Ghana card.
As a commission, we don't think so. We are mindful of the fact that the National Identification Authority had some budgetary constraints and they were not able to, register. They have not been able to register for a while. But we are also mindful and we are also well aware that over the last 2 weeks, they've kick-started their activities in the districts and they are registering persons who have turned, I think, 15 years above in the districts. So I do not believe, and so the cards are available.
On the injunction application, the EC said it was not served.
As we speak, the commission did not become privy to that documentation or that service, that writ until Wednesday, because on Monday the commission was on the field and on Tuesday we were on the field, and it was only Wednesday after the exercise that we became privy to that service. We've known for a long time that we had registration. Why wait till a day before the exercise to serve on a Friday when there's a lot of field activity going on?
She adds the Commission will undertake a continuous registration process to register more persons next year.
In the lead up to the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections, we will roll out a continuous registration of voters for several months in the district offices. Additionally, we will undertake a mop-up exercise in selected electoral areas, particularly in areas that have difficulty in accessing our district offices.
The Commission is, however, warning guarantors against endorsing minors. Eric Mawina Egbeta, TV3 News, headquarters of the Electoral Commission.
That straight away will lead us to Musa Dankwa with Global Info Analytics. We're going first with him because they've been looking at the figures, what the perception is. And Musa Dankwa, since you've been looking at the numbers, pre-voting, the young people, voter age, etc., how do you sync what the Electoral Commission chair and her other deputies are saying in relation to what is going on with what the perception is about this Electoral Commission, the work they are doing in relation to the registration?
Right. Thank you very much for having me, Roland. I think if EC had really worked with data, they wouldn't be where they are today. Because clearly from what we have seen from the data, about 13% or so of people who are eligible to vote in 2024 are first-time voters, which means that if you take 70 million that we have and you strike the 13% or so of that, you're looking at close to 2 million voters potentially to be registered in 2023 now. Next year, that number will go up. Now, if you look at how the EC had gone about with its registration, I would have thought that they would do the electoral areas first to get as many people as they can on the system. And then next year, they then go on to the district levels registration. That would have been the logical way of doing it. But be that as may, if you look at what they have done, it appears they were not informed by the size of the potential voters in these areas to be registered. Because if you put MRW equipment in one constituency that has 120,000 people as voters, and the same number in another constituency that has 30,000 people, definitely you are disenfranchising those in the large constituencies. If you look at what we are seeing now, you could see that per the number she announced, Greater Accra is behind in the number of first-time voters that needs to be registered, because it contributes the largest portion of voters in the country. Currently, the number she's put out there, Greater Accra is about 15 or 16%. So clearly, Greater Accra is behind. Followed by the Ashanti region, which is also the second largest. They are behind compared to where they should be. And you could see this problem has become prevalent because of the disproportionate allocation of equipment. If you look at what NIA did during their mass registration, areas that had high population were given much more equipment than areas that have small population. That should have driven what EC was doing. Clearly, we haven't seen that. And if I was EC and I'd be in the electoral body, I would be concerned that when it comes to first-time voters, they are very difficult to get them to vote. And if you want to encourage them to vote, it doesn't matter which party they come from. For me, every Ghanaian that is 18 years should be allowed to vote, or must be made to vote by making the process very easy. Now, first-time voters globally are difficult to get to the polls. So to get them enthused to vote, you must make life easy for them, which means bring the centers to closer to where they are so that they can register, and then you can encourage them to vote. Right now, that isn't what we are seeing. People have to travel from long distances. If you look at, for example, Kwabenya, Taifa is down south, and Abokubo is up north. And even though we are in the urban constituency, it's still not easy for people to go from Taifa to Abokubo to register. Can you imagine other areas in that other part of the country? So clearly, data was not used in driving this exercise. If they had used data, they would have done it differently.
You are not saying we have PhD holders, etc. People who used to be in universities related to political science, etc., who talked sharply on these things. So you cannot say that they didn't use data to register, right? It could have been deliberate.
Well, I have no evidence to suggest that, but what they are doing appears to be like that, to be very honest, because it defies a basic kind of operational deployment strategy. What they are doing. I mean, I have worked with the NIA on the national ID card before, so I knew what we did, and I don't see why we should reinvent the wheel when NIA template is there.
Elikem, what do you make of all this? I know, for example, because you're a deputy national organizer, you travel the length and breadth of the country. And the argument even being made, for example, if somebody is in Sylvester Tete's constituency, that's English and Manfrom, Botiano English and Manfrom, it gets closer to Amasaman, then you have to cross to wager that road, etc. I mean, it doesn't make it easy. And this is an urban area. Before you even go to the peripheries.
Roland, good morning, and to our viewers and my panelists here too. I feel very sad as a young person seeing the display of ineptitude by the Electoral Commissioner. At the point I was going to suggest that we must begin to have one of them constantly on our tables here, but sometimes before the program ends, we are able to realize we have spokespersons for them. Very sadly enough, the EC chair has not seen any wisdom in all what the complaints of people have been. Yes, I've been to the likes of Yoyo, Bunkpurugu, where you would have absolutely or virtually no network. And if you have to even look at the distance some of them have to travel on very immotorable roads to reach the district capitals before coming to just acquire this voter ID. It is just very obvious this is a deliberate attempt by a square peg in a round hole to disenfranchise people. You see, I was born in Abo, and even to travel from Abo through Afifed all the way to Keta or using the Dabala Road takes you close to 40 kilometers. And imagine that somebody who is a peasant farmer, whose son or daughter just turned 18, 19, and is not employed, has to acquire a voter ID. And you'd have to go through all this process. The fellow is likely to say that then I will not go for this. And in effect, you, the electoral commissioner, you are disenfranchising people. I have never seen anywhere, mark my words, I have never seen anywhere any officer holding public office as shallow as my palm than the current electoral commissioner. This is a woman who obviously, I have not seen her in a very long time. The only thing that have changed from her is her color. The last time I saw her was when she was IEA boss and she was a bit dark. Now she's become very fair. But apart from that, nothing else. And she seemed to have gotten some arrogance and some power to feel that she could say all manner of things and get away with it all. And you see, if you listen to even her reading all of this, she wasn't making any sense to me. She wasn't making any sense. When asked the question, for instance, about what she said when she was IEA boss, childishly and very infantile enough, she was trying to justify that that was not an election year. Let her be reminded that the current dispensation is far more than even an election year, because after the 2020 elections, you have not done any mop-up. So 2021 is outstanding, 2022 is outstanding, and now you are conducting this exercise in 2023. And that should tell you, therefore, that, look, this is very crucial. And how childish can you be as an electoral commission chair that you will now be embarking on an exercise that ultimately seeks to disenfranchise a lot of first-time voters? Then you are given reason that, oh, they can wait and let's go for, let's wait till the main elections. And you cannot say that. You are deliberately saying that we can disenfranchise them for the district level elections, but we will not disenfranchise them for the national elections, which is, pardon my language, but this is arrant stupidity. It doesn't make sense to anybody, not even to the commoner or a KG people or any younger folk who understands this process that we're talking about. And so for her to now come out to want to even justify the illogic that she has put out there, the chaos that she has actually decided to manufacture out there, it just doesn't make any sense to anybody. But you see, maybe we need to realize that indeed we have a square peg in a round hole. Who doesn't have not only an appreciation, who has no knowledge what she's about. And it appears her scripts are even written for her. That is my opinion from what I saw.
You sound extremely worried.
Yeah, very worried.
Because the situation is worrying.
You see, because as a young person, I do not understand why somebody who is living at Avalavi in the Volta region, who wants to go to Ketu North, who wants to go to Georgia to register, would have to also go for another 34.4 kilometers to just go and get the ID. And mind you, she is so childish enough not to realize that when you see a crowd like that at the registration centers, it should tell you that, give or take, when you see 600 people at a polling station, maybe 400 or 300 are the ones coming to register, because they all have to now come with guarantors. And who does this make sense to?
Because they don't have access to a Ghana card to come in.
And you see, you claim you want to take foreigners out of the rule, etc. But now, people may be compelled to even guarantee for others they do not know. Because if I want to move all the way 30 kilometers, 57 kilometers to somewhere I do not know anybody, yet I want to acquire the card, how am I going to get somebody at the district office to guarantee for me? And if this is not stupidity personified, what else can you call it? Because we have treated matters of this nature with velvet gloves, which has resulted in us reaching this level. This is a woman who has decided not to listen to anybody. Her deputy's posturing has always, in some way, resonated with commentary by even the governing party. Where you have the national youth organizer of the party, of the NPP, saying that people who do not want to embark on the exercise can decide to go home and sit. How can you, a leader of the youth, communicate to even your own people in this manner? So you do not care about their vote, you do not care about them voting for you. And then you have Bosman also saying the same thing. It is a sad situation we find ourselves in, my brother.
Bernard, at the end of the day, let me just apprise you of, so far, the numbers that have been registered. And we'll put that on the screen for you, just to quickly give you a certain insight as to where the permutation is. So the Volta region has 12,000 so far. In excess, of course, OT 4, but the main areas are Eastern 19,000, Ashanti 29,000, quickly, and then Northern region has 12,000, And then the two Bono regions, you put them together. And then the upper east, west all together, you put them, you're almost getting to 19,000, I believe, or 17,000. And then subsequently, you look at western north and then also the western region, you have an excess of 16,000, if not 17,000. And of course, we have 17,000 also for the central region. Greater Accra has 27,000. The key question is, we have a bulk of young people who may not have access to the Ghana card. So the guarantor system is the ultimate thing. Ideally, if they were doing this in their communities, you being able to assess or verify whether somebody guaranteeing for somebody is really close to that person would have been easy. Is that not it? Instead of making that person travel alongside the person, and then becomes more of a dispute, trying to see whether the guarantor really is close to that person who wants to register. Is that not the case?
Morning to you, to Saka, and to Elikem. Before I say anything, or maybe I'll come to that, which is the collapse of bridges. I'll come to that later. But let me state that the posturing of our electoral commission is worse than a coup d'etat. And if anybody should be worried about coup d'etatism, it is the kind of actions that the electoral commission is engaging. Last week, I indicated to you that the Constitution of Ghana states in locus classicus in Article 1 of our Constitution that sovereignty resides in the people and it is exercised in their name and for whose welfare it should be done. And so therefore, when we exercise our sovereignty in determining who should be a president, and that president is responsible to us, is duty bound to us, the citizens, that president takes actions on our behalf. And those actions include the appointment of electoral commission, deputy chairpersons, and indeed the 4 other commissioners. When you come and tell me that you are independent, your appointer himself is not independent. So you cannot be independent of the people in whose name you are exercising that independence. You cannot. You may be independent in terms of functions, but in terms of accountability and listening to the welfare and well-being of the people, you cannot be independent. And so people must reason. The second aspect is that what is the mandate of the Electoral Commission in Article 42? In Article 42, it tells you that every citizen 18 years and above is qualified to vote and is entitled, the word there is entitled to be registered for the purposes of general elections and referendum. Right? For the purposes of public elections and referenda. So how is the person entitled if the person is not given the right access to be able to get onto the voters' roll? Now, I have repeatedly said that when the Constitution says that somebody 18 years and above and of sound mind is entitled to be registered, the Constitution actually did not go further to say that those who are going to register them must also be of sound mind. That is where the challenge comes. Because if you listen to the likes of Dr. Bosman, who in an attempt to explain and to parry away the need to bring down the voter registration to the people, told us that remember that voting is not a force. The person who is supposed to be goading, aiding, coercing, encouraging people to be on the voters register come and tell you that voting is not a force. And he's entitled to receive his salary at the end of the month and other benefits. Such characters must be checked on whether they are actually sane.
Oh, why?
Why? You don't know the function for which you are in the office? That you are in the office to encourage people to be on the voters' roll, and you come and tell us that don't come onto the voters' register. It's like a teacher who comes to the classroom and say that if you don't come to school, I will get my pay. So don't come. Coming to school is not compulsory. That is what Bosman is telling us. That is exactly what he has told us. And you cannot say it in less words than in this form. Now, what is it? And I just listened to Jean Mensah, who I'm told has a certificate in law.
No, she's a lawyer.
Okay,
please.
Take it that way.
She's a lawyer. Call to the bar, please,
okay.
Respectfully.
Okay, she's a lawyer. Who says that they started an action only to realize that an injunction was before them. So they decided to ignore. Look, she would have been better if she said that, look, she has not come across it. But to tell us that while you were on the field and that you only came on Wednesday only to realize that an injunction is before you. And so you know there is an injunction and you are continuing with the exercise. You have called the bluff of the courts. I am excited. No one should take my excitement for granted. No court can stop us from doing any mass action in this country any longer.
You mean you hit the street to demonstrate?
Oh, why? That is the easiest. No court. Because the Electoral Commission is a state institution. And you went to cover. When the lawyers and bailiffs went to the Electoral Commission to want to serve them, what did they do? They locked up their premises and asked the security not to allow anybody to enter the premises of the Electoral Commission, a public office. That has become the private property of Bosman and Jean Mensah, that no one will be allowed. If I want to access the Electoral Commission, I should be allowed. I can be frisked and I can enter. For anybody to deny anybody access to public offices and ask the security to lock the gates and prevent people from accessing it, it's unthinkable. This is what Jean Mensah is doing. Now, let me come to Musa and the statistics. Common sense statistics will tell you. Each year, SHS students, majority of them are 18, right?
Yeah.
We churn out about 600,000 of them. And so, by 2021, 600,000 of them were churned out. They never got onto the voters' register. 2022, 600,000, they never got the chance to be on the register. 2023, they are actually writing their WASI. They are not on the voters' register. That alone should be inching to 2 million back in most statistics. I'm not talking about those who fell out of the education and will also qualify. I'm not talking about citizens who, for one reason or the other, could not be captured onto the 2020 voters' register. So we're talking about 3 million people on average.
Well, the Electoral Commission says 1.3.
That is just to tell you that they don't work with statistics. And this is not the first time. Remember that I was at IPAC, the last limited registration before they did the, what do we call it, the new voters register. They told us they were going to do 500,000. We asked them the basis of the 500,000. They didn't give us the basis. They moved to 700,000. When we asked them the basis, they moved to 1.2. At the end of the day, they registered in excess of 1.8 million. They don't work with figures. Now, Roland, you know that this is raining season, right? On the first day of the registration, which is on the 12th, or was on the 12th, do you know that in Greater Accra, in Ashanti, and in the Upper West region, it rained throughout? Go and check your records.
Yeah.
So people were not registered on that.
Oliver, put that video there where people are crossing in canoes over.
Do you understand? They never registered. Now, I know, and I lived it, that I walk from Sankana to Kaleo every day to go to school, and people are still doing it today. Why? Because they don't have money. There are no vehicles to go.
Like something like that on the
People move from Namvili, Zukri, and they walk all the way to come to Takpo before they get to Sankana.
Namvili to Zukli?
Zukli to Namvili, to Takpo, before they can come to Sankana, and then walk to Kaleo before they can walk to Nadoli to go and do a registration How is this? Finally, you saw the Dolly Bridge. The Dolly Bridge captured by TV3 and many others. That is the road linking Upper West, Northeast, and what have you to Burkina Faso and what have you. The bridge has collapsed. So persons around that area should walk through the bush and go and get registered. When we talk that, look, the best the Electoral Commission knows, Jean Mensah probably was born, raised, and lived all her life in Accra. She doesn't know where rural communities are.
Oh, that would be unfortunate.
So she sits down and make policies and programs that will suit, in fact, not even suit urban situation. Because even the urban people are complaining about the distances that people have to cover. Now, you are talking about somebody. Look, so, okay, my son is going to register, right? I will not go there. I will just call somebody in Nadoli, probably, to go and stand in for my son. How does the person know my son?
Yeah.
So if you are saying that people will accompany their wards and move that long distance to go and guarantee, it's not the case. And so whatever you are trying to prevent, you have actually escalated the fictitious nature of the voters' roll. And finally, Roland, they are doing this to enable district assembly elections. The assemblies are done on electoral basis. Why are you not doing it in the 6,272 electoral areas? So that we can have proper devolution of the voters' roll, so as to capture many people, to enable them be entitled to register and to vote.
A concern Helga Boedi sends me. It says, can we also put into perspective that a journey of 40 kilometers or so, which according to Google ideally should take perhaps 30 minutes, can take in excess of 2 hours on Ghana's terrible roads just to get to a registration center?
That is when you have a vehicle.
Yeah.
But if you come from the background that I come and you have to walk.
Some of the pictures we're seeing, it means it will take you hours. Now, Saka, that also means that the governing party seems to be in a certain position of allowing this to happen.
No, but let me point out that Evans Nimako, who is the director of elections of the MPP, has spoken against the manner in which the AEC is going about.
Yesterday, too, I also read a post by Adomako Kisi, a member of parliament.
Speeches being given.
That formally, the ruling party seem to be at peace with all that is happening. Can that conclusion be made?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Roland. Good morning to my fellow panelists. Good morning to the MPP fraternity, the president and the vice president.
I will not lead you
First
to
of all,
appointment.
I think that no, I won't mind him. I think that as young men and as political players, we should be mindful of some of the ways that we use.
But I'm not younger.
You are young. Please. You stop the interruption. Let me.
Mr. Mona,
but I'm not young.
So you are a very young person.
He's making a statement. When you were talking,
we should be very careful, especially guiding our maps. We shouldn't be so busy as to take care of our maps. When Elikem was talking, I was just writing some of the words that he was using on Madam Jean Mensah. Shallow, arrogant. These are the words that he was using. Not making sense, therefore senseless. Childish, infantile, stupidity, and illogical. I mean, I don't think if anybody used those words on you sitting here, where you haven't even reached half of her level,
What is
where she is now, in terms of stature, in terms of almost everything. I don't think that if somebody used those words on you, you will be happy. My brother Bernard also came in and started to even question the saneness or the sound-mindedness of the Electoral Commission. And he's telling us that he has always asked that the Constitution has not said anywhere that you have to be of a sound mind to do to register people. It means that he has not read the Constitution.
What did he say?
The Constitution is so clear.
The sound mind.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Constitution is so clear here.
He didn't say that, I think.
No, he said so. He said that the Article 42 talk about the fact that you have to be of sound mind 18 years to register.
But 42.
Yes.
Talks about the right to be registered.
To be registered. Okay. And that right, you have to be 18 years and you must be a sound mind and all those things. But he said that there is nowhere in the Constitution that says that really? Those who, yeah, that's what he said. That you have even been asking. That there is nowhere in the Constitution that says that those who are doing the registration must have sound mind. Actually, if there are some of these basic things that people don't know, and then you even go ahead to question the legal brain of Jane Mensah, then I don't even think that people should even listen to us, because we are not educating the people. When we should be educating them, inform and entertain. But it's like we have used the education and then the informing aspect to entertain people. Because, like I said, the Constitution is clear on who qualifies to be the electoral commissioner. And it says that there shall be an electoral commission who shall consist of a chairman, 2 deputy chairmen, 4 other members of the commission. And the qualification, it says that a person is not qualified to be appointed a member of the electoral commission unless he is qualified to be elected a member of parliament. And what are the qualifications to become a member of parliament? If you go to Article 94, let me go to Article 94, 2, B2. It says that a person shall not be qualified to be a member of parliament if he is found to be of unsound mind or is detained as a criminal lunatic under any law enforced in Ghana. So the soundness of the mind is so clear. So let's not come here and throw dust and lie and show our inability to even educate those who even don't know and pretend as if we are rather informing Ghanaians and educating them. Secondly, on this whole matter of Jane Mensah, NPP, like you said, and like Bernard also said, we are clear in our mind.
Which is
that,
what? That the status
that
quo should
nobody
continue.
Should be disenfranchised. Especially when we are talking about first-time voters. These are people who have not shown or who have not voted for anybody before, any political party before. And therefore, these are the first-timers who are yet to even choose a political party. You don't go denigrating or you don't go disenfranchising them. And like we all know, the Constitution also makes it clear that nobody should be disenfranchised. And the whole process starts with a registration. So we believe that whatever the Electoral Commission can do to ensure that everybody who qualifies, especially the youth who are now turning 18, must get the opportunity to register and to vote, whether in the referenda, whether in the district level election, whether in the general election. That should be clear. So we support the fact that we have to expand the frontiers of the registration exercise. If the kits are not working, we should ensure that we get the proper kits, biometric machines to work. If the people are not able to
more like
access,
you are just paying lip service.
No, we are not doing that.
That's what you're doing.
But you see, what we don't want to support is the hypocrisy of some of the political players like the NDC and their cohorts, who think that the best way to campaign is to subject the Electoral Commission and the whole Electoral Commission into ridicule, into some form of, incessant attack. That's what they are doing. You remember John Dramani Mahama, when Charlotte Osei was in office? He said, "I will leave the Electoral Commission alone to do its work." We, as political players, despite our difference with the Electoral Commission as to whether or not they should do things that will inure to the benefit of all those people registering, we will not go there or mount the platform insulting the Electoral Commission. That is not in our DNA. Remember even Charlotte Osei, when we're criticizing Charlotte Osei in the past, all the criticism was in the courts. And that is the reason why if you look at all the cases that we took to court, we won all. Because we were not just on air insulting, like the NDC former chairman told them, that they should go out there, that they should go out there and take the Electoral Commissioner to the cleaners. And that is exactly what they are doing. Elikem is here doing same. And my brother Bernard is guarding him on and also doing the same. So I am saying in this sense, people have problems. There are genuine problems. There are some of the problems that one can say. I mean, for instance, the bridge that collapsed. You cannot say it's the fault of the Electoral Commission.
So Kasale, what is your constituency?
It doesn't have.
Well, my constituency is Iowa Central.
Iowa Central.
And West Central.
Okay.
No.
Because I hail from West Central.
Which part of Wa do you come from?
Oh, Wadobili.
Okay.
Yes.
How long is that to the district center?
Oh, that one.
How long? Oh, I mean, you can just walk. You walk.
I stayed in the same house with him.
Do you?
You don't even. You just. I say it's a stone throw.
It's not a stone throw.
Oh, Masa.
Do you empathize with reports?
Yeah.
And these are not the manufacturing
He doesn't know where
or
Pankole is.
politically exposed persons of reports, and then genuinely of citizens who are complaining that they are losing access because they cannot commute to the district offices from where their abode is, and then also they are handicapped in many ways, either because they are physically challenged or convalescing, etc. And then we just not find the right people either to guarantee. Do you empathize with them?
I empathize with people who have challenges. Anybody
and
who
you don't think those
No. You see, that is the reason why I'm saying that. When I was even talking about the Electoral Commission, you said, oh, this one is not just for the camera or something. I mean, when I was admonishing the Electoral Commission to ensure that everybody get to register. But when people have problems, if people have challenges, I mean, the political parties are on hand to help people. The MPP actually, go out there and convey people to the registration centers. The NDC is doing so.
We shouldn't.
And some of the smaller political parties are also doing so.
Right.
So this is the empathy that we are talking about. And for me, I think that the Electoral Commission, just like any other institution, cannot be said to be sacrosanct, that they don't have problems or whatever. They might have one or two problems. But in addressing those problems, we should be careful not to go overboard, like what the NDC is doing. And what they are doing is not just about the registration. It's a grand scheme to vilify and to portray the Electoral Commission in a way that lets them look like they are in cahoots with the MPP to rig an election. The Electoral Commission chairperson herself yesterday talked about the fact that they are not in any way in collusion with any political party to disenfranchise anybody.
Right.
And therefore, when people sit and talk in a way that is not the best, I think that we have to...
Mr. Musa Dankwa.
Yes, Roland.
So I have BT Sly, Nadoli Kalyo, who is saying, from my community, Koyin
Korin
Yiri.
After Noro.
In Nadoli Kalyo district, one needs 140 to get to the district capital because there's no straight road to Nadoli.
No, you have to actually...
Now...
You have to try to... No, you know Korin Yiri.
And we're talking about people who didn't get to register the last time, 2020.
You sit down one.
Who have turned 18. Realistically, do you think the Electoral Commission, based on what the statistics are, seem to be far removed from the reality on the ground, and then is preaching something that is far different?
Would pay for themselves.
And why?
I believe so. I mean, besides the first-time voters, those who are attaining 18 years, there are those who are much older than 18 years that are not on the register, that we haven't captured. So the figures they are throwing out is probably underestimated. I mean, so, look, it is a reality. I mean, this is not a myth. I don't think EC is oblivion to what is happening all the country. I remember when I was doing my national service in Yendi, it's a village called Pansia. I rode on the back of a bicycle for about 3 hours before I got to the village from Yendi. I mean, you are asking this guy to come to Yendi. I mean, look, for me, I thought the reason they were doing this was for money reasons or resources. They haven't got the money. If that wasn't the case, I don't see the rationale behind what they're, frankly speaking. It doesn't matter if they plan to do further registration in 2024, but you will normally try to resolve the problem now because the backlog this time around is quite huge. So you deploy heavily now, capture as much as you can, and then in 2024, you do immediate registration where you would have just do a mop-up. The effect will be much more effective than what they are doing now. Clearly, I mean, look, it's difficult for anybody to justify what EC is doing from any angle.
Now, does it mean that the way the Electoral Commission is undertaking this exercise and ignoring all criticisms from those who have been targeted, being the citizens, those who are guaranteeing for those first-time voters, and even the state actors and the political actors, many people could end up not being registered in this window because of the actions of the Electoral Commission? And why?
Absolutely. In fact, we are even envisaging that. So in our next opinion poll, we were asking people who haven't registered why they haven't registered. And I think by October 10th or 14th, the EC will see the reason from our national tracking poll. So we're not just talking on TV or radio. We are actually measuring what people are telling us with regards to the experiences they are going through. And I believe that a lot of people will not go because of the inconvenience they have to encounter, because you have to carry at least 3 people or 2 people to go with you to register if you don't have the Ghana card with you. And we know that a lot of young people don't have the national ID card at this stage. So they are more likely to carry people with them and pay for their transport. In these dire economic times, how do they do that? Anybody who really believes in true democracy will not be doing what EC is doing right now.
What is the trouble that could portend for us? I mean, what do you envisage could be the problem, that could be the backlog that could lead to many people being disenfranchised from next year into 2024 general elections?
Look, at the moment, about 21% of first-time voters said they will not vote. And nobody should be happy with that kind of number. I mean, these people constitute about 13% of the voting population, and 21% said they will not vote. We are trying to engage young voters or young people to take part in our democracy so that they don't feel despondent. They don't feel that they've been cut out. And these are the things that will minimize the risk to this country in terms of security. If they see that we are implementing policies that will deliberately disenfranchise them, this could blow up in our faces. We need to engage them. We need to let them feel that, look, the only way we can advance this country is through democracy and through participation, and not through disenfranchising people. And clearly what is going on is achieving that.
You are saying it is deliberate by the Electoral Commission?
No, I've said that if money was not the reason, then it's deliberate.
Yesterday, Elikim, somebody drew my attention that before this current registration, people needed their voter ID for transactions. Now the transactions are being done with Ghana card. So once somebody has Ghana card, the person may not be compelled to go and register. Is that a fear that you think is being perpetrated in many of the strongholds of the NDC and the other political parties? That you think the Electoral Commission is spearheading deliberately?
It could be. It could be. Roland, it could be. Let me also put on record, if you listen carefully to the Electoral Commissioner yesterday, she did say that even in 2024, they are going to do the registration exercise, same way as it's being done today. I don't know if you took notice.
I did.
Which means that even next year for 2024 registration, she is saying they may open up the roll for 4, 5, 6 months or so. But you see, if this is not insanity, what else can it be called? And I am so sorry that my brother here has decided to be a typical not aware person and wants to choose words and translate them to local language to make meaning for him. It is English we are speaking. And so describing the Electoral Commissioner in the manner she is conducting herself could not be perfect. What she is doing, permit me if I have to repeat it again, it is stupidity. It cannot be countenanced. It cannot be allowed. Why are you not happy with what she's doing? Or probably you are happy by pretending in front of the cameras that you in the NPP are also not happy about what is happening. Look, I am young just as you are, and you want to even force our brother here to be young. Good. Are you aware that there's a certain instant coffee being served all over Africa now? And it is just...
Which is what?
Coup d'etats and uprisings. God forbid, discontent, because when you try to gag the people, when you try, you see, we have now become, we may not be developed, but the minds of people, the millennials today, is very developed. So when you don't allow them to have a proper appreciation for democracy, they will make you know that, look, you cannot do this. And look, take no assurances from any military. There's no army even bigger than the people. There are times when the people call for it, the military has no other choice than to also allow or join them do so. This is not something anybody wishes for this country because we have come far as a people. But when you are allowing these things to go on, the Electoral Commission already is failing to meet its target. And if you listen to the analogy drawn by my brother, if 600,000 people are churned out from 2021, 2022, and those who will be joining them this year as well, that alone is almost 2 million. You haven't done anything about that. Then you throw a figure of about 1.3, which is your target. Look, common sense should have told all there that you rather needed to expand this exercise. Then the mop-up exercise is where you need to actually do at the district offices. Now you are expecting me not to bring one guarantor, but 2 guarantors from my hometown, travel 50 kilometers, spend 150 cedis on myself, and another 300 on them. You get to the center and you are told the machine is faulty, or it is raining, or you don't even get to register yourself, and you have to go back. Even if you have to sleep, you have to provide food for those people. Are you aware of the challenges people are going through, including your own party members? Or you think that all those who are first-time voters are never going to consider the NPP, for which reason you shouldn't care? The reason this is very worrying is that when you have your national youth organizer say that if you do not think you can embark on this exercise, you can sit at home. Then you have Bosman, who is a known NPP fanatic and an appointee of your president, also do or say same. And you have the likes of Apiahene, who are also dying the wool party apparatchiks, who have been elevated to that level. Then I'm sorry but to say that I am not convinced by anything you say here. Look, Roland, I'm an advocate for women, a strong one. Are you a woman? I'm not a woman, but I'm an advocate for women. And that is why I was so happy. You recall during the he for she incident when the president went to lie on international TV in Canada that he's employed over 5,000 people and that young Arab lady embarrassed him. I was happy, not because the president was embarrassed, but I was happy because the young lady was strong, intelligent enough to demonstrate to the president that what you are holding is just a title. It doesn't mean you have wisdom or knowledge beyond my capacity. And the young lady showed that she was more intelligent than our president on that day.
Oh, how?
Oh, yes. Oh, do you want to play that tape back? You recall how she
I know the
put,
yes.
Yes,
talking about.
you get it. And so,
but
if
your
today,
that's your interpretation.
I mean, it was an interpretation by everybody. And you see, so if you as a young person think that this matter should be treated with velvet gloves because describing the conduct of the Electoral Commission is stupidity personified, means that you are taking too much. Look,
you shouldn't use these words.
You see, did they seek clearance from the NDC when they had to even call John Mahama incompetent?
By his?
You see, you think he is, and you think that
is.
others should not be described by who they are.
I mean,
so
stupidity and incompetence are different.
You see that
Stupidity is insulting.
That is what you think.
Incompetence is described.
What is the meaning of incompetence? If I may just cede him 30 seconds of my own time.
Oh,
what do you understand by?
I mean, somebody who who is incapable of doing the right thing.
Are you doing the moderation?
So you have no use. You have no use. That's what you mean. You see, so my point is that the Electoral Commissioner has defied sound knowledge. He's defied anything sane that Ghanaians are talking. And mind you, I'm not talking only because I'm an NDC. I'm talking because I'm Ghanaian who is worried for the young man or the young woman out there who is having some excitement that in the district level elections, I may also be part of the electoral process. And now you are denying him that opportunity. And so that is a very sad situation.
It looks like people seem to be taking on Salia, a lot of his countrymen from WA. So I have Kalio man from WA who says, I'm surprised Saka, who is from, your place is Doubly in WA,
he's not been there in a decade.
is talking the way he's doing. He doesn't have feelings for his own people. Now he's in Accra and he's talking like the...
so what is he talking about?
Is it the elephant? But Bernard, what are your worst fears? Because you are a very experienced politician. What are your worst fears that could happen to young people who ideally should have been targeted with this registration that is being undertaken by the Electoral Commission?
They will not register. And they will lose confidence in the voting process.
And our democracy.
And that will lead to a certain level of apprehensions amongst our people, heightening the insecurity of our nation. Because anytime people lose confidence in the processes leading to, they are exercising their rights to choose. They have no other option than to resort to violence. Nobody should pray for that day. When that day comes, I will run. The EC will not stay. They will run. And so it is important that to avert this situation, we do everything possible to ensure that people get to register. When B.T. Sly gave his message from Korinyiri, he said that it costs about 104 or 40 cedis to move from Korinyiri to get to Norong. From Norong, you then be struggling whether you go to Zang or you go through Buse before you can get to Nadoli.
Don't look at him. He doesn't know.
I know he doesn't know what he's talking about.
I know those places more than him.
He doesn't know nothing.
I know those places that he's mentioning more than him.
He doesn't know anything.
I have to go to Musa Tarafa.
So to that extent, he's talking about 140. But we are told that you have to go with 2 guarantors. So it is 140 times 3. In this economy, where Saka sits and cannot even fill his tank.
Oh, please, don't speak ill of Saka.
I'm
He's a member of the
I'm just
governing
telling you
party.
reality. I'm just telling you reality.
I'll come to you.
I'm telling you reality. That the pretense we show when we are on set and we go outside and we are gnashing doesn't help us.
Don't be personal.
I'm not personalizing it. I'm just.
Please go ahead.
I'm not personalizing. If you take it that it's personalization, I'm sorry. I'm saying that if you take it, I'm sorry. When you finish registering, I'll talk. So if you take it as an offense, I'm sorry. But I'm just telling you how these things undermine the potency of the citizens. Now, what is Jean Mensa saying? That those who are talking today did not say the same in 2016. And so because 2016 people did not say, it all of a sudden becomes a right. What did she say in 2016? If people who are talking today did not speak, what did she say? As IEA boss, was she not everywhere attacking and bastardizing the EC for the stance they have taken? Has she forgotten the fight we took with the EC? And this was without exception. Because political parties at the IPAC insisted that we should do it at polling stations. And when EC said they would not do it at polling stations, we said the minimum we could take was electoral areas. We had this banter. then you come. You are avoiding service. Now you agree that you have been served, but you are ignoring the fact that you have been served. And you are going round. And the courts are aiding the EC into this. You know how they are aiding? A matter that the citizens want a determination, the court says that the determination will come in 17th October, by which time the voters register or registration would have been done. I have been party chairman. At the time, I was general secretary. When we were to go to Congress in Sunyani, Roland, you recall the Sunyani Conference, 2012. Some members of our party had taken our party to court to prevent us from going. Georgina Theodore Wood was not in the country. But she ensured that the acting Chief Justice empaneled a court on a Saturday to determine the matter by 11 o'clock to tell the Electoral Commission that go and conduct the party congress for them. Today, our courts are not in hurry to resolve matters that have serious ramifications on our national growth. Let us watch out. The day that Armageddon will plague us, no one will be safe.
What is giving you comfort, since you have no fears at all that people could be disenfranchised? What's giving you comfort that at the end of this registration exercise, the objectives for which this is being undertaken will be achieved?
Yeah, first of all, I think that the Electoral Commission, as mandated by law, is supposed to do the registration and even review the registration annually. And the Electoral Commission has been doing all that. And especially this year, maybe last year, for one or two reasons, they couldn't fulfill that constitutional imperative. But they are doing it now. And they have told us that, among other things, they are going to do more mopping up and all those things to ensure that every legitimate Ghanaian...
next year. They said
next year, towards the election, towards the general election. And that they will do everything possible to do it. You see, the hypocrisy is a problem in this country. We have people. I mean, remember in 2005 when we were going to introduce the ROPA, Bernard and Co were all over the place. That they won't accept that, doing demonstrations. That Ghanaians everywhere should not be allowed to vote. Mm-hmm. And today they are talking about entitlement to vote.
Wow.
You see, when when we were saying that every Ghanaian, irrespective of where you reside.
Salia, speak to the issue.
Yeah, that's the issue. That's the issue.
No, I'll talk about it.
Irrespective. Can you let me talk?
Who say irrespective?
Maybe don't speak to the issue.
So, and they are here saying that.
He's talking about Europa.
The Electoral Commission is disenfranchising some people and all those things. I told you here, I didn't miss words, that the MPP position has always been that we want the Electoral Commission to do the registration of everybody who qualify as a Ghanaian. And we want the register to be as, the integrity of the register to be as strong as possible. The problem is not just to let people, whoever, be on the register and then in the end bring the integrity into disrepute. But what we want is that the integrity of the register should be as strong as ever, and that only Ghanaians get to do the registration. Not what some other people think that we should join them in chorus in condemning and insulting the
Mr. Musa Dankwa, no, Ropa. I covered all the issues about Ropa. The argument then was that if you say people, of course, Samson Ladi Anyenini has a ruling that ideally the EC should be effective. At the time, if you say the EC should implement that, then they should be in a position where all Ghanaians, and there are many Ghanaians, not only Germany, Hamburg, and those places are not only places where Ghanaians live. They live across Africa as well. Then you should be in a position to register. Mr. Musa Dankwa. Oh, please.
Yes.
Mr. Musa Dankwa.
You cannot make voter registration accessible to me. You want to take it outside.
The way you look at the statistics, based on your analysis, we are headed for a mass number of young people who could end up being disenfranchised. Even though we're told that there will be 7 months being a period of registration across districts next year for 2024. How worried should we be as a country in terms of the perception on the Electoral Commission, the impact on the fairness and the transparency of next year's election, and the trust that people could have for the Electoral Commission? How worried, based on these indicators, should we be?
Now, Roland, if you look at what EC said, they said that next year they will do continuous registration, but those will still be at the offices of the EC, district level. And so it doesn't resolve the problem that we are currently seeing. And people are broke. Frankly speaking, you have no money to commute that distance. I would have thought that they would have used the NI template. Mass registration, when you've captured over 80% or so of your target, then you decentralize to the districts and do the mop-up. But they are doing the reverse. And I think, look, if you follow social media, which I do quite a lot, because as a poster, you must have your ears on the ground. The anger on the ground is not healthy at all. And we should be seeking to really make it easy for people to vote. I'm always advocating for easier process to make young voters vote. But that is the only way we can engage them. Any young voter that I have come across that says he will not vote, I always tell them to make the effort to vote. But that's the only way their voices can be heard. And if we do our bit as public figures and others undermine that effort through this exercise, it really hurts. We have to be very careful, because this explosion of anger by young voters could really mean something else in the future. We should try and avoid that.
I love this. Explosion of anger. We have to be really careful. So let me just also apprise you of some of the comments that are coming in, and then
I need to make a small comment.
so we have this one, Prince Henry from Kofodia, who says that from Labi Krom to Afosu, then to New Abrim, before you travel to Kede, is about 90 kilometers. It could cost about 100 Ghana cedis or more per person for in and out, including a guarantor. If a first-time voter without the Ghana card wants to register, he or she must go with guarantors, and that will be as much the cost. Note that Labi Krom is a constituency in Kede, and you have to travel through Ofuanse Ayerebi constituency before going to his or her constituency or office of the EC in Kede. This is coming from Alhaji Aminu Donko, who is a politician based in Kede, and that's a concern also being raised by Prince Henry. Now, Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm says, Madam Jimensa and her arrogant posture goes to show that she has no respect for the rule of law, and God have mercy on Ghana. Eric from Ashaliboche says, what did Saka Sali when did Saka Sali realize that insult is not the way to go? They call Charlotte say Ashawo. Did you call him Ashawo?
Wait. Did you ever have me call anybody?
Not you.
Never.
Don't
we
do
never
your face
call
like
them.
that. Do you call him Ashawo?
We never call the Ashawo.
And then they call GM a thief and incompetent.
Right.
Yo, they say you hold PhD insults. Now, don't be surprised next year that they will insist on using only Ghana card. Well, that's a new one. So we have. I have this one from George Alote. Please tell the NDC rep that they should stop bringing people from other constituencies to register at Ablekuma West, etc. That's George Alote. And George Alote, thank you. And I have also from Tio. Now, let me just go to some of the comments from my regulars. So because my time is up, I have this one from Daniel Akpaliok. Please tell Saka Salia to speak to the issue and stop the equalization and the blame game. And then also this one from Ras Rampa. Why are all these MPP guys defending the EC like that? What's the agenda? I should ask you, what's the agenda?
I told you by the time
that the NDC is attacking the EC like
I told you by the time we end the program.
Amamba Gold says there's everything wrong with the way the Electoral Commission is undertaking its work. Sanwo Moses Saleh says, where is the Peace Council? the Christian Council, Occupy Ghana. Which other groups do we have? And then, so is the Peace Council functioning at all? And that's from King Power. All of you joining us, we're grateful. Elikem, great one. Former PNC Chair, Bernard Mona, and then Saka Salia. We're taking...
Tell the government to fix the Kolas Bridge.
The Kolas Bridge.
So they are doing,
which is causing a lot of discomfort, has increased the cost of transporting or traveling from Wa to Accra or Kumasi, and above all, reducing the inflows, because Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, they also come through that same road. So this is a very important road, and the bridge has been begging for works. Unfortunately, it appears that government...
Oh, no, but when did the bridge...
Mr. Musa Dankwa, thank you very much for joining. I can see my own father also coming in, the most reverend, Paul Kebafo. I love this man. And then, of course, Sheikh Arimi Yao is also in the studio as well. We'll have some nice conversations, I promise you.
Jackpot of the week. Place bets and hit the jackpot. Log into the OneXBet account. Click on the Take Part button. Place bet and take part in the jackpot draw. Give your luck a chance. Use promo code to get a bonus on your first deposit.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. Not for persons below 18 years. Gambling can be addictive.
Are you tired of dealing with toilet paper that irritates your skin and clogs your toilets? Your WCs? Wait, I have great news for you. Flora Toilet Roll is the game changer. Flora Toilet Roll is thick, gentle on the skin, and fragrance free, making it ideal to clean your intimate parts, as it causes no skin irritations and or allergies. The best part is it is made to dissolve easily, preventing plumbing issues and clogs. Experience the ultimate comfort of Flora Toilet Roll. No more clogs, no more skin irritations.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena me ankasa me period no say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me modam no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro me fire no ene ma won kra me nu foforo kwa na me kwan mu a eba and everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama nuru a ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you. Hello.
Hey, ohwehwe what che?
Okay.
A free bra wo di end point wa dance am me call you no me Johnson sema na enkoyie empeso na ma yemre nyina na magina sebema na me be fie for there e ho na nyina jaresa.
You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
Rasta. What does Rasta really mean to the people? In today's episode of Rasta Vibration, this is what we're looking at. Rasta, what does it mean to you?
To me, Rasta means real.
Rasta to me means artistic.
Rasta to me means study.
Rasta to me means trailblazing.
That's what people like you and I do every day.
What?
But where you there?
I do. Listen, Rasta, I have a bone to pick with you. Some of the things that you say on air, though, are morally, ethically, and politically.
Relax. kids are watching.
Wala Zila. Aminium Bombo.
Sit down, my youth.
Respect. Rasta means the motherland, Africa.
Real artistic, sporty trail blazing African choco malt drink.
This advert is FDA approved.
Sister. Wow. We are Juma Raffle Coast.
Raffle Coast.
Wow! My travel man at Tonquem.
I don't want to encounter.
Madam for the TV. My yas of Betchem, best of Betchem.
Sir, Raffle Coast, ya cradia for fra upper a German so. A cradia way pet and I walk when you say, obey we need 3 times because I felt 3 chances. Ya chany maybe to phones, TV, and no, I may assure us what I'm for.
Really, you know.
When Nansing Espresso Suzuki, brand new shrine, and also that's near Yini Pabako. I want more 2 years near the Amano. Yeah, and sire, you watch it yet in Japan, a 3-bedroom apartment. And what then? Why your grand drawing? A year worth $100,000 US. Dial *365*224#. Now I send it into Raffle Coast dear. Stand a chance to win big.